Welcome to your seller checklist. In this tutorial, we'll guide you through all the steps required after your offer has been accepted. You can always access this checklist by going to the Offers Received section in your app, selecting the property under Accepted Offers and clicking on Details. First, confirming proof of funds. Once the offer is accepted, the first task is to confirm the buyer's proof of funds if you have not already before accepting the offer. If you haven't done this already, click View Proof of Funds to review the document provided by the buyer. After reviewing and confirming with the lender, you can contact the buyer if you have any questions using the Contact Buyer button. Once confirmed, click Confirm Proof of Funds and the buyer will be notified. Next, send the purchase agreement with applicable disclosures. You have 3 options for sending the purchase agreement. Use our attorney referral service via the Contact Counsel option. Use your own attorney. Use one of the available purchase agreement forms. Once you've chosen your option, make sure to check the main section box to notify the buyer that the contract has been sent. You can email it directly or use the in-app messaging feature to upload the contract. Confirm that both parties sign the agreement, as this is what makes the offer legally binding. Then, open file with title company. If you're using an attorney, they typically coordinate with a title company. Otherwise, you can use our partner, Close Title, by selecting Open Title. You can open escrow here. You can fill out their form and you'll be contacted. Close Title also have a digital ability to hold escrow. You will be able to learn more by navigating to their site and filling your information. If you're working with another title company, make sure they handle the escrow for the earnest money deposit and send instructions to the buyer or buyer attorney. This is a crucial step to ensure the funds are safely managed. Next is earnest money deposit. Do not let the buyer deposit earnest money in any non-escrow accounts. Ensure it's handled either by the attorney or the title company only. Never ask a buyer to deposit earnest money directly into your account. The buyer can complete the process digitally using ACH or wire transfer to the title company. Then inspection review. If the buyer opts for an inspection, review the results carefully. Their options are not applicable, no inspection required. Completed, inspection done with no issues. New terms. The buyer wants to renegotiate based on findings. Legal review. If an attorney is involved, they handle the response and should be select by default. Work with the buyer to resolve any new terms or issues identified. Now, for buyer's lender appraisal. The buyer's lender will typically require an appraisal if they are obtaining financing. Once the appraisal is complete, the status will update to one of the following options. Not applicable, no inspection required. Completed, inspection done with no issues. New terms, the buyer wants to renegotiate based on findings. Legal review. If an attorney is involved, they handle the response and should be select by default. In cases where the appraisal is lower than the purchase price, new terms may need to be discussed when status is in new terms or legal review by the attorneys. Then, repairs completed. If the inspection revealed any repairs, agree on a timeline to have these done before closing and enter the date. Use the checklist to mark the repairs as complete and update the buyer before closing to notify buyer repairs are complete. Next is clear to close. Once the lender gives the buyer the clear to close, make sure all conditions have been met. This status will either be pending or clear to close. Once you confirm, move on to setting the closing date. And the Set the closing date. Coordinate with the title company or attorneys to set a firm closing date and time. Enter this information into the app and check the box to notify the buyer. Make sure both parties are available for the date selected. Next is to prepare for closing. A final reminder that everything has been completed. Repairs, documents, applicable title issues to be cleared, utility and service notifications, reviewing the closing statement, preparation to vacate, and lastly, confirm the closing details. Now, the final walkthrough. The buyer will schedule a final walkthrough typically last week before closing. Confirm the date and ensure the property is ready for the final inspection. Lastly, pay the seller technology fee. Once the closing is complete, you will be prompted to pay the $499 seller technology fee through Stripe. That's it. You've completed all the steps necessary to close your sale. If any issues arise, feel free to contact support at help.sellbyowner.io, where we have a great resource that walks through all this. And there is a chat functionality within the platform to basically help reach out to our agents if you have any additional questions. Thank you for using Sell by Owner.